My name is Karin Danielsson, and I'm an associate professor at UMEÅ University in Sweden, and I have the privilege to give a talk to you today about norm-creative innovation through user involvement. And why is this topic so increasingly important today? Well, in today's society, we are, of course, throughout history, always changing and developing, and not least the societies we are living in. And therefore, we want to find new ways of creating solutions and possibilities to both existing problems, but also problems that might occur in the future. And today, when we are facing a quite rapid development, not least within technology development, we also need to figure out what new ideas, terms, and frames we need to have in order to adequately address these new times. And one way of doing this is by using a norm-creative perspective within innovation. So I see innovation as a way of developing new products, new tools, new work procedures, new services, or even new business models. So it can be creating something new. But innovation could be then to create something new, but it could also be to change what is. So how do we work with it when we do not really know what it will become? One way of doing it is by working together with others, because doing so, you have the great opportunity to share and have access to other perspectives than the ones that you are having yourself. One challenge we do have as humans is that we are shaped by our previous experiences, understanding, and knowledge, and that makes it sometimes difficult for us to see something from someone else's perspective. And therefore, it's so important to work with people to bring in users into an innovation process that can put words and experiences to these other perspectives. Why is user involvement important then? If we involve the end user that will work with the technology and the solution, that will make large improvements, not just through the implementation of the new solution, new idea, the innovation into the work place, but also it would be a possibility to address and bring in the design solutions and ideas that the workers already have, being experts in their own tasks, the work that they do. And now we are talking a lot about, so what voices should we listen to? Previously, it was in a sense the stronger voices within that particular setting, the user that we could easily address, or the main user. Now we are thinking and exploring more, what are the benefits of bringing in the voices that are less often heard? Because they will bring in even other perspectives. They are also part of that setting. A third reason for user involvement and why it is important is also because it increases democracy. It gives people a right to participate in decisions that are likely to affect their lives. It is particularly important when we think about making changes into healthcare, for example. And the important thing is to be aware of who are we including and who are we excluding. If we are also inviting voices that are less often heard, people representing minorities, for example, it is also very demanding to require from them to represent their own community by just being one or two people part of a design process. So that also needs to be taken into consideration. First of all, do they feel that they can represent the minority group that they are supposed to represent? In what way? Do they feel that they have the possibility to give voice? And moreover, being part of a minority might also mean that you do not have the same resources, time, and possibilities to participate into a lot of different innovation and design processes. So today, almost everyone is talking about AI. So would AI be solution for this, or could it be something that we could use as a tool in a design process? Could it be a way of generating perspectives or ideas or something like that? But it is very clear that these new tools have a lot of limitations. And there has been a fear that AI systems could overtake the creative and innovative process of development and design. We are not there yet. I don't even know if we will or will not be. The creativity that we have as humans is one thing that has been really difficult to program. It could copy us, of course, and it could make similar solutions, but it's all based upon things that we have already done. So far, research has found that the human design will be about sense making, because still there should be someone, or it needs to be someone, that can understand which problem that could or should be addressed. And of course, systems can process a lot of information and see different patterns, but they are also biased in a lot of ways. So if we want it to be another perspective, it also has to be programmed into taking that into consideration. Whereas we can easily do that by inviting people representing different perspectives. So one way that we can work with this is by using norm critique. So through this, we can question our own understandings. We can welcome other perspectives, norms, values, and ideals. And this is the way the only way that I can really question my own understanding is by listening to someone else expressing theirs. But for me to do that, it requires that I'm open to it, that I want to understand other people's perspectives. I also want to understand what norms that they need to relate to, that shapes the possibilities and limitations that they have, and also what norms, the same norms, for example, how it creates possibilities or limitations for me. Norm critique has a very close connection to innovation and innovative thinking. Since it can help us to shape alternative visions and values. As I said, if I'm able to understand this problem from another perspective, I can see something new into that. I could find another path on how to do it. So using norm critique, and that is by expressing, identifying, and clarifying existing norms into a certain context, and also by identifying who benefits and who is limited by these existing norms. We can use that into an innovation process, and then it is called a norm creative method. By acknowledging norms, it can help you to realize whether your solution could or would or should challenge or reinforce the norm. As I said before, what you could do is by identifying a norm, you can think, okay, so this means that this particular group of patients, for example, is excluded in this treatment. And this particular group of patients would benefit a lot. I could then decide either to challenge that and to make a design that would maybe then benefit the other patient group rather, or trying to figure out how both could be benefited by the new treatment. But I could also reinforce the norm, increase the benefits that one of the patient groups has to that treatment, and to larger extent exclude the other patient group. What it is important here to know is, because maybe you think, well, of course I don't want to reinforce a bad decisions that has such an imbalance in treatment. Well, the thing is that if we don't make informed and aware design decision, we tend to reinforce the existing norms, because we don't really identify and work with the people that are excluded from that norm. So that is why it's so important to identify them, to see who is included, who is excluded, and then make a decision to challenge that norm in your new innovation. Otherwise, unintendedly or not, you will reinforce it instead.